Hey guys, D.Bowie here, and this is things I learned with Liquid.Matumbaman's Wraith King in 7.06. So first of all, Wraith King is a good hero to get kills in lane. I feel like Matumba's starting item build here is just perfect. Mango for the instant mana burst, and Clarities if they ever stabilize the lane and he can actually regen a little bit later. I want you to pay attention though. Matumbaman is offlaning here, even though he's the safe lane core. Do you remember my Earthshake video where S4 demolishes a Wraith King in the safe lane? Even if the supports did their best to zone the Earthshaker eventually, he will get levels and still be a nuisance in lane. Considering they have an Enigma, I heard that can zone Earthshaker out of the lane without drawing aggro thanks to the Eidolons, I feel like their choice of lanes is just great. A lot of people just go for aggro lanes when they want to shut down a particular enemy hero, yet switching lanes can be very important against lanes that are hard for your team as well. Radiant's lineup is especially hard because Lich will make sure that Dire's creep equilibrium is non-existent. The first step for this skill happening is the creep blocking. Radiant missed their block a little bit. They dive Troll, but I want you to pay attention to Matumba. He only goes aggressive on Troll when he's sure that his team can follow it, something a lot of low MMR players simply disregard. You can blame your teammate for not being ready, or you can be sure you're doing something that actually has the chance of working. They kinda stack stuns, so the kill ends up being harder than it should be, but Troll is a fairly easy hero to take down provided you have magic damage. Another amazing thing we can do Matumba doing here, that yes, is simple, but changes not only this fight completely, but the next one. A lot of hasty players would either pop the Mango to use stun, or wait the mana to use stun. The thing though is that he knows CM is in Frostbite range. He actually clicks on her and Troll, accounts for everything, and just saves his own mana. Sand King dies, but they get the kill, so they just retreat. A lot of people would be inclined to stun Slardar to run easier and take less damage here, but by simply dragging them to their tower, Sand King is already alive by the way, and the stun now has purpose, and even though Slardar survives with some HP, look how Matumba uses the fog to check on Troll's items. He does not have PMS yet. I did talk about how this new double Slippers of Agility build can be greedy, and we see it working out right here. He pops the Mango, killing Troll and also Slardar. If you go back though, we're going to see that using the fog to regen was not Matumba's only intentions. He only closes the gap on Troll that fast because he immediately used the gold of the first kill to get himself some boots. Troll has no TP and the lane is more than one for the Dire side. I really like the decision of getting Magic Wand. The item is already good on Wraith King because of his ult, but there's no item more valuable in try versus try scenarios than this one. Sand King ends up going mid, securing a kill on Sniper, and Radiant feels like this is their time to counterattack. Pay attention to this clip. Matumba starts going on Lich, but they turn on CM. He knows he has boots though, and that Sand King is coming there, so he doesn't just back off. He goes in for the kill and makes use of the advantage he conquered. I feel like one of the biggest problems 4 and 5k players have is the foresight to do plays like this and constantly abuse a previously acquired or given advantage. Since he has boots and the enemy doesn't, he trades even with Radiant instead of only losing CM and thinking, well, okay, it was just a CM. Later, we see another great play coming from Matumba. One of the most annoying things when you're ganking a Troll is that the X's really hinder your follow-up damage. So Matumba goes in with the stun. As you can see, Sand King is there, but he doesn't give the call for him to go. He baits the X's, and since Ray Fire Blast has lower cooldown, he tries to get in later with his team. As you can see, he goes almost immediately as his cooldown gets ready, and that would be a kill if they didn't stack stun so much. Still, this is one of the cases where actually knowing and abusing different cooldowns can help you, so pay attention to those small things, especially when you're in lane. He notices that Earthshaker is positioned very close from the tier 1 tower top, but even more importantly, Enigma has Black Hole. He TP's top, being on the fog and also in a place hard to be spotted with wards or lane vision. Enigma didn't want it to spend Black Hole and they almost get juked there. After that kill, Matumba decides to stay in lane. Enigma doesn't need to stay there to farm, and considering they didn't have full control of the offlane, it's just natural that he eventually would go back to the top lane. I really like how he approaches Earthshaker going back to the lane. The main power Wraith King has to fight against Earthshaker is his HP regen. By using the stun, as soon as Radiant's offlaner shows up, he's able to assert dominance, because while Earthshaker is very annoying, he doesn't regen HP as fast as the Wraith King. See how he commits another one right after? The trade might seem even, but Earthshaker doesn't have the guts to stay there matter anymore. If Matumba just kept trying to dodge the aftershock and draw aggro, maybe he would farm okay, but he wouldn't be fully utilizing his strengths. Some people get afraid of using too much mana and not having reincarnation, but is it worth to ult if you're not even getting farm in the first place? Since we're talking about his ult, you can note that he did not learn it, but he's actually saving a point. This is very common with Wraith King in the early game. If you're about to die and you see your allies TPing to the tower close to you, or if you feel like you can turn the fight, you learn the skill. But if you're alone, or if you don't have mana, you don't. If you commit to a huge cooldown and let's say your team wants to smoke 1 minute later because they farmed dagger on Enigma, you can die again, or you can get less kills because you didn't have your ult slow available. Or even worse, your team can get wiped because you don't want to go since you don't have ult. So you really need to consider those things. The cooldown on level 1 reincarnation is huge and you need to actually use it appropriately. Since Dire wanted to smoke, Matumbaman actually TPs close to where they are. They end up only finding a Lich, but look how Matumbaman uses that opportunity and his TP to actually get an objective. Wraith King is a hero that's kinda slow. He really needs to either farm statically for a long time or start doing stuff if you actually rotate. They have Black Hole, Reincarnation, and also the knowledge that Earthshaker has Blink Dagger because of this. A very long and crazy fight starts. And in the end, this rotation is not the most successful one, so he just decides to farm the Ancients. Always prioritize Ancients with him since he has so much single target damage. One interesting thing to note is that after he takes the golems and stacks the camp, he waits the next spawns with agility threats. Since you get HP regen from Armlet, you're going to heal percentage-wise faster if you do it like this. As he leaves the area, he still does that. Small, but relevant efficiency for Armlet and Helm of the Dominator heroes. Let's try to address farming patterns now. What is the main problem with 4K carries? They don't utilize the map well. Sometimes they're kinda good at doing it, but they complain about that people are farming his map, when in reality, you don't need to farm only your side of the map. If you think about it, since only Earthshaker has Blink Dagger, he's the only hero that can really surprise and take the Wraith King down. So instead of not only wasting his time, since his jungle is further away from where he is, he actually gets more farm since he's getting lane farm on top of it. He pushes the first wave and look how he plays. He doesn't advance instantly. The reason he was safe going there was that Earthshaker was showing top. That's not the case, so he needs to re-evaluate his actions. He gets vision again, easy farm. This might seem easy, but it gets more complicated when the enemy team has more than one initiator, or if you're playing a hero that is squishier than Wraith King. He farms the jungle now, wastes the lane to push a little bit, Earthshaker shows top again, which gives him the confidence to stay there. Eventually, the inevitable happens, and they rotate, but they take Lina instead of him. He finishes his Blink Dagger right when Radiant starts to fight top, and pay attention to Matumba's decision making. With a team like the one they have, the ideal fight is Matumba being in front, dying, only prepping for an epicenter. The problem though is that Sand King dies before Matumba is there. He even clicks on the poor guy. He's already there and tries to fight, chooses the right target in my opinion, since Earthshaker is the only hero that didn't ult yet. Unfortunately, the minus attack speed from Sniper, Ice Armor, and Lich's ult is too much for him to handle. I really like that he turns his armlet off after the slow ended in an attempt to maybe get away with armlet toggle, but he gets super controlled. He does a nice job blinking out of reincarnation, and now we're going to witness some top tier decision making. Watch the entire clip first. It's It's awesome, but how and why is he able to pull this off? Slithering Crush and Wraith Fire Blast have the same cast point. What gives him the edge is the fact that he turns back when Slardar is coming in, but he also attempts to cast the skill on Slardar before the blink. Usually, this would mean that the projectile would be disjointed, but he is mid-cast point while Slardar is starting to stun after he blinks. So since he pulled this off, he's able to blink out when Earthshaker comes, surviving in the most dire of the situations. Let's not forget about him joining this fight with his utmost and strongest power spike, level 2 ult and Blink Dagger armlet. So this means that he's not going to take so long to fight again. In this game, he decides to go for Radiance. What's my take on this decision? First of all, the item is pretty decent in general. You're kinda slow and very one-target focus. The item helps you in that regard, dealing some spread damage. The item also gives a significant amount of attack that synergizes well with your crit, and the fact that you have 2 lives and last a lot through the fights, guaranteeing a lot of Radiance burn will affect the enemy team. Let's not forget that there are 2, possibly 3 heroes that will go for Blink Dagger this game, and during teamfights, it allows an easier time for Matumbaman to lock down on enemies since they can't run away with Blink if he's around. That's not only it. Troll is a hero that only deals physical damage, and the miss chance is actually pretty legit. It kinda forces Troll to go for a less greedy build, having to probably build BKB after Sanjanash and Vlad's. Again, since his team is actually farming a huge portion of the map, we see the same movement coming from Matumba. He comes from the ancient area to the bottom side of the map. As he kills one wave to walk to the other one, he always tries to get vision of the enemies. Sniper was on the minimap, and afterwards he gets a glance of Earthshaker and Lich, which gives him the confidence to go further. The fact they have all their cooldowns and a ward in that area was probably a good incentive to try to pick up a fight close to that area. In a way, Matumba wants actually to get caught. The problem is that Lina again kills Lich but dies early. Enigma and CM were too far away, and even though Matumba's death sets up the epicenter pretty well, they get another pretty discombobulated fight and they lose. Guys, just a quick note, I am actually crowdfunding my way to TA7. This is a big project with a lot of goals and stuff that I want to give back to the community. If you're interested, please check the link in the description. This is something very important to me, and if you appreciate my work and actually has some time or some money to support me, I would be more than grateful with your help. Well, this wraps up for today. If you enjoyed this video, please guys give it a thumbs up. If you want to see the extended version of this video, check the link in the description. Pugna is a platform where you can learn from people like Chessie, Fog, Monib, and get better at the game. They have now great content on the new patch, and if you want to raise your MMR, it's just a great time. Figure out the patch faster than others and get those easy wins. By the way guys, I'm actually streaming pretty much every day to try to bring awareness to my crowdfunding. So if you want to watch me play some ranked games, sometimes I'm casting, sometimes I'm analyzing replays, sometimes it's actually making my videos, just check it out. I hope you guys have a good time there. And if winning MMR is not enough for you, you should definitely check out our new partner, Lootcase. There you can win and find beautiful cosmetics and go from 0 to hero. They give you a bonus on every deposit you go for, but if you register with my referral link, you're gonna get an even bigger one, so check that out.